All right, this is the third video in the caster project tutorial series. We're going to go ahead, we'll keep moving along. We've already done the plate as well as the frame, and then today we'll work on the hub and the rest of the parts. The hub starts out with just a bunch of circles. There's a 42, a 24, a 60, and an 84. And then there's this ring of circles around that's centered on that 60 millimeter. Those are all 10 millimeters. So we're going to do a bunch of circles. This piece is more vertical, whereas this top part and these are kind of more horizontal. So instead of sketching on the top plane, we're going to sketch on the front plane. So I've got my model open where I saved it before. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the visibility to those other parts. Hide my data panel. I'm going to remember too that when I'm starting a part, I'm going to remember to right click and select new component. And this will be our hub. Go ahead and hit OK. So my hub is my active component. Go ahead and hit the create sketch. We're going to use this front plane to sketch on. My first two circles are 24 and 42. So I'm going to use the C on my keyboard to start the circle command. Type in 24 and hit enter. Letter C again, snap it to the origin, 42 and enter. And those are kind of all on top of each other, so I can kind of drag them, grab that dimension and drag it out of the way. Then I've got a 60 and an 84. So C on my keyboard to start the circle command. Type in 60 and hit enter. And if you don't want to use your keyboard command, you can always come up here and click on the create over the circle and grab it. But you can see it's got a shortcut right there. Center diameter circle is a very common tool. So snap it to the center, drag it out, and then type in 84. Okay. This 60 millimeter circle, I don't actually need this line. I'm just going to use it as a reference. So I'm going to select this line, come over here to my sketch palette, and for line type, I'm going to select construction. That'll turn it into a dashed line. The solid lines break up the blue shaded areas, the different profiles, but the construction lines don't. They're just there for reference. I also want a vertical line. I want to put this circle right here. I need to put straight up and make sure it's at the top of that arc. So rather than just trying to guess, we'll go ahead and put in a line, snap it to the origin, go straight up. You can hit the green check mark. I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of the line tool. I'm going to select this line, turn it into a construction line. That way it's there for reference, but it's not going to get in my way. Hit the letter C on my keyboard for a circle. I'm going to make sure that it snaps not only to this circle, but also to that vertical line. I'm going to drag it out and just type in 10 and hit enter. And that's my top circle. I've got 5 more, but we're going to go ahead and use a new command. We're going to use the circular pattern tool. It opens up a little dialog box. It's telling me to select my object. So this circle is the object I want. I'm going to select this. So now I need to select my center point as the origin right there. It kind of lights up that circle. Then I've got the option down here that it's going to kind of put in 3 circles, or I can use the up and down arrows, or I can just type in a number. I need 6 of those circles. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. And got all 6 of those done. Pretty simple. Hit finish sketch. Come back over to my view cube, hit the home view so I can kind of get a good perspective view. And when I extrude this, I know the center section is going to be a total of 10. So 5 to the right, 5 to the left. And then this kind of tapered section, and that's what the little 3.5 degree angle is, it's tapered. It's going to come about 20 from this front face, but my sketch is here in the middle. So I'm going to have to do this 20. I'm also going to have to do half of that 10 from the center out 5 plus 20 more. So this part's going to be 25 from the center, and this will just be 10. So go ahead, start the extrude command. I'm going to grab this outside part, And I know that I want to do symmetric at both sides, and I know that the whole distance has got to be 10. So we'll do that. Whenever you finish an extrude, it hides the sketch. So we'll just go ahead and turn that back on. Start our extrude tool again. Grab that inner circle. That is also going to be symmetric. And we said the half distance, if you remember, is 20 plus that 5. So the half distance is 25. And then we also have to remember the taper. If I look at this from the top, you can kind of see if I drag this inward, it gives a different taper. If I drag it outward, it kind of explodes and goes crazy. Just trying to think that we're trying to cut a hole into, it actually thinks we're trying to cut a hole inside of here, which is not at all what we're trying to do. So we're going to drag this taper over this way. And it's always a little bit tricky to kind of get those things with the mouse. So we're just going to see that it's the negative direction. We're going to type in negative 3.5. I believe, yeah, 3.5 degrees. So we'll go back to our home view. That looks good. Instead of new body, I'm make sure I select join so that those things are attached to each other. Go ahead and hit OK. We'll turn off our sketch. And that looks good to me. We've got, I don't know, some kind of light purple color. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the A on my keyboard, bring up my appearance menu. I got purple because I did it when I was practicing, but you're not going to have that right away. So I'm going to come down here to glass. Whoops, not glass. Paint. Glossy paint. And there's no light purple. So all I did is I right-clicked on this blue one. I'm going to duplicate it. It gives me another blue one. Right-click on the new one and hit Edit. And then you can kind of pick whatever color makes you happy. Some kind of light blue, light purple, whatever you want. I'm going to hit Done. Changes it to that lighter color. This is on bodies or components. So I can just click this, drag it to the whole thing, and voila, some kind of light purple. So I'm going to hit Close. We're going to go ahead and save this. We'll call this the hub. If I could spell. Okay. Or I should say type. So that's our hub component. Pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and minimize all of these. I can turn on my other components. You can see they're all on top of each other. Since the hub is activated, it's the only one that's displaying solid. The other two are kind of translucent. If I come up to my top level design and activate that, kind of click in the white space, you can see that all three of them are there on top of each other. So we're going to go ahead. That's the hub. We'll come down here to the flange. This is going to be my next component. So we'll come over here. Once again, a bunch of circles. I'm going to turn off the visibility on all of these. I'm going to right-click, start new component. We'll call this one flange 1. We're actually going to need 2 of these. So I'm going to hit OK. For our sketch plane, this is kind of oriented in the vertical plane as well. So we'll select that XZ plane. I know I got a couple circles. So we'll start with the 41 and the 60. 41.5 and 60. C for center circle. Snap it to the origin, drag it out, and just type in 41.5 and hit enter. C for circle again. Snap it to the origin, pull it out, and type in 60, hit enter. 41.5 and 60. I got an 84 and a 78. C for circle, snap it to the origin. I forgot already, so sorry. 84, 78 and 84, 78 and 84. So sorry. 78, hit enter, circle, snap and pull it out, 84. And then one last one, 108. So C for circle, snap to the center, pull it out, type in 108. And these are kind of all over the place, so I'm going to pull these out a little bit, maybe where they're not so all on top of each other. I'm going to take a look at this drawing. I can see that I've got these other circles, and once again they're on that same 60 millimeter line that was on my hub, and the flange is going to bolt to the hub. This one tells me the holes are 10 millimeters. That's not on this drawing, so that's an error. I'll go back and fix that. But these holes right here should be 10 millimeters as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to turn this 60 right here that comes out to this circle. That's the 60. We're going to turn this one into a construction line. Same way we did before. We're going to add in a vertical construction line. I'm going to make sure I select it first and then turn it construction line. We'll do a little 10 millimeter circle. Make sure it snaps to both of those. Type in 10 and hit enter. Oops. This was still on construction line. So let me select this and unselect construction. So now it's just a normal line. And then we're going to do our same circular pattern tool. It's asking me to select an object. So I'll give it that. I'm going to select the center point. Come down here, and instead of 3, I'm just going to type in 6 and hit enter. And I've got all 6 of those. So we'll finish that out. I'm going to come over here to the home view, so it's kind of at an angle, get a little bit better view of how I'm going to extrude this. We'll start with this very back plate over here. We can tell this is 3 millimeters thick right here. So if they don't specify anything else, you can kind of assume that it's symmetric and everything's the same. So this is 3 millimeters. We know that this is 78 and this is 84. So that's 6 millimeters between it. So we know it's 3 over here and 3 over here. So we can assume that this is 3 as well. So that'll be my first extrusion. I'll start the extrude command. I'm going to grab this piece. And it wants to go back that way, but I want to have it come out the front. And that's the negative direction. So I'm just going to type in -3 and hit enter. Come over here and we'll turn that sketch back on. This section, whoops, this thin section right here, if I can zoom in and grab it, that's going to kind of be the sidewall. That's this, I guess this portion right here. Okay. So from my sketch, it's going to come all the way up here to the front. So from the back to here is 11.5, and then another 3 millimeters. Let me kind of zoom in on that a little bit. See if that's easy to see. My sketch is right back here along this line, so I'm going to bring this all the way out to here, which is 11.5, and all the way to the front, which is going to be another 3. So that's why from this back part to the front part, I have to add those two together and get 14.5. So I'm going to start my extrude command again. I'm going to grab this. Same thing, I'm just going to grab this direction arrow, kind of pull it the direction I want to. It tells me it's the negative direction, so I'm going to type in -14.5. I'm going to put it right there. And then the last section, I'm going to go ahead. I need to do this front part of the flange. We kind of zoom back out here. You can see this face right here. It's even with this sidewall, but it kind of goes back in a little bit. I already know that I've got this front face, and it kind of goes backwards 3.5 from the front face. So I'm going to start the extrude tool again. I'm going to select this profile because that's what I want, but I don't want it to start back there. I actually want it to start up here. So there's a start option, and instead of profile plane, it's asked me if I want to do an offset. I could do the math and figure out where that is and have it come forward to here, or I can just click on object and say I want to start it at this face, And then from that face, I want it to go back that 3 millimeters. So I'll just type in 3. Join is what I want. I'm going to hit OK. And that looks really good. Okay, I'm going to turn off my sketch. So you can see there's that back plate that we did 3 millimeters forward. And then we did from back here all the way up to here was the 14.5. And then we did from here back 3 millimeters the other way to get that flange. So a little bit of backwards and forward on the flange, but nothing too difficult. So let's put a color on this. Flange is kind of that, I don't know, gold color. Gonna hit the A on my keyboard, yellow. Sure, good enough. We'll hit close. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. And this is the flange. We're good to go. Now I'm going to need 2 of these in my model. So I can come up here. And I'm going to come up to my top level, activate my top level model. This is the only part that I have visible. I'm going to go ahead and right click on this and click copy. And then I'm just going to kind of left click to get out of that menu. I'm going to right click in white space. This is, let me click up here to make sure I'm kind of active up here. I'm going to right click, and I've got 2 options. I can either paste or paste new. If I use paste, then flange 1 and flange 2, if I make any changes to flange 1, those exact same flanges will happen to change to flange 2. If I do paste new, it'll start out the same, but they won't be linked. And I know that these 2 things are going to stay the same the whole way through, so I'm just going to click on paste. It's going to kind of stick it right on top of the other one. I know I want this one to face the opposite direction. So I'm going to grab this disc right here and kind of spin this one around 180 degrees so it's facing the opposite direction. I'm going to hit OK. And now I've got flange. It's still flange 1. It's just the second occurrence of that flange. So there's kind of 2 of them. They're both gold. They're kind of sitting on top of each other. We'll go ahead and save that and say OK. So we got our flanges. Next thing is this little tire section. Just a couple circles. That should be pretty easy. Go ahead. We'll close out the visibility on those. Make sure that our top level is activated. Right click, new component. We'll call this one tire. Whoops. Tire. Once again, this is kind of on the vertical plane. I've got 2 circles, an 84 and a 120. So I'm going to start my sketch on this side plane. Do C for circle. And I've got an 84, C for circle, and a 120. Okay. And we look. We'll get a little bit of a round on here, so we'll show you how to do that. But the first thing we need to do is extrude this out to a thickness of 33. So we'll finish that sketch. We're going to select this to extrude. We'll just go ahead and type in 33. Start out with new body. That's great. And hit OK. To kind of round these edges, it's only these outside edges. The inside edges are sharp. It's only here on the outside to kind of top and bottom that we have that round, and it's a 5 millimeter. So to do that, we're going to come over here to the modify command. We're going to use this command right here. That's called fillet. So we'll select that. It's going to ask me to select an edge, face or feature. We want to select an edge. This is already highlighted to select. So I'm going to grab this edge right here. Kind of highlights it in blue. I'm going to also grab this edge right here. Highlight that in blue. So it's got both of those. It's got a dialog box highlighted. So I'm going to type in 5. And I just rounded my wheel. I'll go ahead and leave all those things the same. Hit OK. Hit the letter A for appearance. I think this sucker was red, so we'll grab that. Drag it on there. Boom. That was easy. Go ahead, hit save, and we'll call this tire. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that one off. Select up here. I'm getting ready for my next component. I know I've got another one coming. So tire is done. This is the Kingpin. This is going to go vertically into our caster. So once again, this is 18 millimeters. You can kind of see that here. And 60 millimeters long. We've got a couple little, these are chamfers. These are not rounds. You kind of just slice those off. And it's a 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. That's what's kind of going on the top there. But to the outsides, it's going to be 18 by 60. So right click, new component. We're going to call this one Kingpin. And okay. This one was kind of vertical. So we create our sketch. We're going to grab this top sketch plane. And we're going to do a center circle that is 18. Finish the sketch. That's all there is to that one. I'm going to extrude this one. And I think it was 60. Let me double check. Yeah, 18 diameter by 60. So that's easy. And then instead of grabbing the fillet tool to put a rounded edge, we're going to click modify, and we're going to do chamfer. And same thing, it wants me to select an edge or face, and it's got this little equal distance option selected. So I'm going to grab the top one and the bottom one. And same thing, it's got the 1 millimeter. And I'm going to set the equal distance. That 1 millimeter is what we want. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hit OK right there. What color is this? We gotta zoom out. Yellow. Okay, we need a different yellow than before. So I'm gonna hit the A key. I'm gonna grab this yellow. Oh, no, I need to duplicate it. I need to right click and hit edit it. And then we'll slide this down a little bit. Oh, there you go. That's nice and obnoxious. We'll hit done, and we'll apply that kind of yellow to it. There you go. That's a winner. Close. I'll go ahead and save that one. That was the Kingpin. And hit OK. So at any time, you can kind of go back on and see all these things we got going on. They're kind of all over the place. If you go to our top level, you can see all the pieces you made. They're kind of all right there on top of each other. I think we've just got 2 more to go. Okay, we've got the shaft and the bushing, and that's it. Okay, shaft, same thing. This is going to be 18 by 104 with a little 1 meter chamfer, and then 18, and this is hollow in the center. Okay, we'll just do one at a time. We'll work on the shaft. 18 by 104. Make sure that your top level is activated. Right click and hit new component. I'm going to type in shaft as my component name. Hit OK. I'm going to go ahead. What is it? That's kind of horizontal. So I'm going to do my sketch plane on this front axis. Circle, center. I'm going to type in 18. Finish my sketch. Start extrude. Type in 104. There we go. I'm going to start up the chamfer tool again. Grab that edge and type in 1 millimeter. Okay. Yeah, it says 2 edges. I couldn't tell if that got the chamfer or not. I'm going to hold down the shift on my keyboard, hit the middle mouse button. I'm going to kind of rotate. Oh, and really hit OK. I'm going to hold down shift, the middle mouse button on my keyboard. You can kind of rotate and see what that is. I'm using a 3-button mouse. That kind of helps. If you don't have a 3-button mouse, quick setup, it'll tell you how to do it. I've got a mouse, and it sees I've got a mouse plugged in. If you're using a trackpad, when you click on the quick setup, it'll let you know how to do stuff on the trackpad. Okay. So that's my shaft. I need a color for that. Ooh, we just left that as silver. Great option. I love that. We'll go ahead and hit save. call that shaft. Enter. And then our last, I'm going to come back up here, activate my main component. I'm going to hide the visibility. Come down here, my last piece. This is a bushing. And it's got an 18 inside diameter and a 24 all by 50 millimeters long. Those dotted lines represent the center of the hole there. Okay, so an 18 and a 24. Once again, that's kind of on the vertical. So come up here, you're going to right click, do new component. And this is my bushing. Go ahead, hit OK. Create a sketch plane on this front cube. I'm going to go back and kind of, oops, daisy. Why is it being weird? Oh, I already got my sketch plane selected. So I'll come up here and select the front place. Okay, it is acting weird. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. I finally selected the sketch plane. Okay. Kind of come up here to the home view. If I click on the corner here, I can kind of see that that's right on that axis right there. If you're ever in doubt, you can kind of turn on your origins. And you can kind of see. I don't know why it's not going to the home view. It doesn't. That home view should be that kind of isometric view like that. I don't know why it's not going. My Fusion is freaking out 25 minutes into the video. All right, I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. See if I can save this. Let me. I'll do the bushing here in a second. I want to make sure I don't lose everything. Bushing. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to expand that. Right click and edit that sketch. And turn off my origin plane. My grid is gone. I don't know what's going on. Let me come down here. Snap to grid settings. Everything looks like it should. Okay. All right, we'll keep working. That should be my origin. I don't know why I don't have the axes of the grid in the background, but we'll just roll with it. I'm gonna do my center circle. I still have my. I thought that was my origin right there. Yep, I'm gonna escape out of that. Finish sketch. I'm gonna go ahead, right click, and delete that sketch. I don't know why I don't have the graph paper in the back. All right, we'll try one more time. We're still active right here. Create sketch. My origin's not showing up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause the tutorial. I'm gonna restart Fusion and restart my computer. I'm gonna restart Fusion and we'll see if we can't pick it up here in a second. Okay, so I restarted Fusion. I just closed it, waited for everything to save. Started it up again. We'll see how things work now. Sometimes it gets a little wonky, and you just gotta restart it. So I'm gonna hide the data panel, the bushing right here. I'm gonna make sure that I click that dot to activate this as my component. We're gonna select. There you go. Fantastic. So there's my grid plane and my everything. So click that face. Where's my drawing? Right there. 18 and 24. So if Fusion ever starts acting weird, make sure you got everything saved. That's why we save all the way along. You need a minimum of 6 saves. I'm already up into the 20s. So for a big project like the caster project, it's not an issue. But we'll go ahead, keep going. I got an 18 millimeter circle. Okay. See on my keyboard, 24 millimeter circle. I'm kind of just going to zoom in. If you've got a 3-button mouse, it makes Fusion a whole lot easier. rather than just a trackpad. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that sketch. Go back to my home view. That's working good again. Okay, makes me a whole lot happier. And 50 millimeters long. And there's no chamfer on this. So it's just 18, 24, and 50. So extrude this 50 millimeters and hit OK. And I think the bushing was silver as well. That's going to get hidden inside our caster. So I can come up here, do this. I got my top level model activated. I can turn all of these on so I can see all of my components. Kind of zoom out and click on the white space. And it's kind of a hot mess, but they're all right there. Okay. Our last video will be on how to assemble these and create the 2D drawings. If you have any questions, just email me. Have a great day. Thanks.